Adam, good morning, brother. How are you feeling today? Did you get your pot of coffee in?
I was telling Jake before I got on the show, I literally do my double cappuccino, have the machine pushing this thing out. And literally I nerfed it and spilled it everywhere and in the drawers. Just a complete disaster. But luckily my kid's home sick today. So I yelled and told him to come clean it up. So had the slate.
Hey, we are here. We're actually just off of the heels of celebrating the 100th episode. So today is 101 Doginal Minos. I guess.
That's awesome, man. Oh.
Spun that dad joke in there. Just had to get it in. I'm excited to host these spaces. We've been doing Doginal spaces. I think the first one was June of last year when we did it with Very Doge Labs. We've been doing this now for 7-8 months, and
crazy.
It feels like Doginals is finally, propelling forward in terms of infrastructure development. And now recently they're starting to meet the Doginal or the Dogecoin maxis. We discussed that a little bit yesterday, but we'll dive into it. And I've seen a handful of DeFi platforms, OKX has come in and said they're adding support, Win Binance, right? All of the fun stuff. I truly think Doginals is really, at least from an infrastructure perspective, starting to compete with e-scriptions is number 2. Obviously, on Ethereum, you have smart contracts, so a little bit of a different dynamic, but it's really exciting to see. So I'm really excited to have this conversation. I did invite a lot of the leaders from the space. One thing I've learned is that there are not a lot of English native speakers who are building on Doginals. That seems to be, a point of confliction from a handful of the teams.
Yep.
A handful of people did say they would come in the future. But as we've learned working at Emblem, interacting with all these different communities, some of them are heavily internationally influenced, and some users are just not comfortable with their English, with their English presentation, I should say. But this will be a fun conversation. We'll try to touch everything. Chris, man, GMT brother, how you feeling?
Good morning. Good morning. Having a good day. It sounds like Adam's having a bit of a rough day over there. Perfect for the Doginals crew. Man, it's just so cool to see a ton of excitement just pop up and an ecosystem really kind of start to blossom. And so we love everything the Doge community is doing. It's hilarious to see the Doginals crew go head on with the Dogecoin maxis. I'm sure we're going to talk about that.
They got him.
And they just have a lot of cool stuff going on. So sometimes crypto doesn't have to be so serious, and they can still build some.
Yeah, Chris, you're rugging, so I'm gonna mute your mic for a second. Might be the internet connection. I did invite one of my favorite Doginal builders to the space. I've been following for a little time, and it seems like 8-bit, you've really taken a leadership role in the community, especially with educating the users in terms of how to operate GitHub, some of the capabilities you could do on Doginals. I've actually learned a lot, dude, just tuning into your streams, man. So I appreciate you for joining us on stage and what you've done with the community so far.
Dude, I appreciate you for having me, man. It's an honor and a privilege. And at the end of the day, all I'm trying to do is educate, onboard, entertain people, brother. Let's go.
Let's start off with your progress so far, man. For those that aren't familiar with you, you have a Doginal Dogs profile picture, which, is in contention of the community. So let's kind of look past that and look into really who you are, what is Ord Library, and what are your intentions within the Doginal community in terms of the Doginal show and everything that you're doing?
Absolutely, bro. So for me, it was that when I got into Ordinals, there wasn't a lot of educational resources or just anywhere for somebody with no knowledge prior to go to, that was unbiased and just a safe place to ask questions. And I kind of started hosting those type of spaces last summer, and that led us into the Bitmap community. And that was where I really learned that community is everything. Right? We're going to do community consensus here on Bitcoin. And by learning that, I realized that if I had this Ord library with all these cool resources, if I put them in the right hands, dude, we could literally have a blossoming ecosystem. And it's starting to happen. I never thought I really could have done it, but it sparked something. And I'm just going to go all in on it, Jake.
Yeah, I'm really excited by it. From last time we had talked, you'd mentioned you don't really come from a developer background, but it seems like you've been kind of leaning into, some of the developer focused things. I have here pulled up on the live stream, the Doginals.org library where you go through all these different types of protocols. How does somebody lean into this and kind of uncover the different types of technical capabilities of Doginals without having a developer background?
So that's where I'm thinking I'm coming in, bro. I really am trying to transcribe the really complexities of development or engineering to really put them in the hands of just the normal homie or home girl. Shout out to our guy from, I believe, Generate Toward over there on Ordinals. He's doing the same type of thing where it's like you go to their website, and although on the back end you got the recursion, the folks on the front end don't know about that. They're just having fun and they're inscribing. And I'm trying to do that same type of thing, really.
Yeah, I've here pulled up your ORD library. It covers everything from DRC20, DRC420, DMT on Doge, right? Some of these haven't really made it to, mainnet yet, or even, it's kind of early exploration. Some of these like DRC420, is this something that you are pursuing, or are you just putting the information out there for others to explore and maybe implement?
So I got inspired by a community member. They sent me a GLTF file, and I said, well, let me see if I can inscribe it and see if I'll have to inscribe some libraries of code. And to my amazement, it came right through. So for those that don't know, BRC 420 is the 3D animated element kind of meta protocol, right? So I said to myself, I go, well, why can't we do it here on Doge? It's blowing up there on Bitcoin. Let's do it here on Doge.
Yeah, it's really, really cool to see. I mean, Adam and I, we kind of joke all the time about all the different things on Bitcoin, ordinals that'll make it to Doginals, and seems like it's accelerating. There's a few other things I'll talk about a little bit later, and we'll have to use some of your expertise to see what you're seeing out there. I do want to say hello to Alon Moist, who's the CEO of Bitcoin. I've heard maybe now he's going to be the CEO of Dogecoin here shortly. Bro, your guys' Ordinals wallet was the leader in the mint of DBit, and now you're breaking the chain and bringing the maxis out, man. How do you feel about that?
It's a very exciting time. I can say that we talked a little bit about it yesterday on 8-Bit Space, that it's very bizarre, the reaction of sort of these guys that just kind of popped up like little puppets out of nowhere that want to shut down all the party. And we're really proud of where Doge is at. And obviously we benefit from operating a service on it. We've had a vision for Doge for a long time. And really any proof of work UTXO blockchain we think can eventually be the chain for doing everything. And I think Doge has a big potential for that. So I'm a little bit surprised and not surprised at the same time at the reaction of the laser-eyed Doge people. But I think history is just sort of repeating itself at this point, and everybody should really. What we really need to do is just increase the velocity and pressure, and get so far ahead that there's no turning back. That's my advice to everybody a part of Doge. And unlike Bitcoin, BTC, where the sort of cartel took over and made the changes and did the things they did, kind of shut down that party. I'm just going to say it that way. We have an opportunity on Doge where it might be a little too late. And so I encourage everybody to keep moving forward and doing your thing and build as much as possible, as fast as possible.
Do you think from your perspective, right, you're somebody who is building on SV for a while, but ultimately you always wanted to build on Bitcoin, so you have some really fundamental knowledge of how UTXO framework is implemented and along with kind of the business element of it. Do you think that, the laser-eyed Doge maxis have any type of leverage here in this situation of potentially wrecking Doginals?
Well, just like BTC, you have some guys that have sort of self-appointed themselves as the government. They hold the keys to the code, in the sense of like, they could make changes to the actual protocol. So they're just going to use that as their trump card. And ultimately, they have nothing to offer the market or customer base. They hardly even had a feel on like what was happening until just this last week. So they're just the only thing they know to do. Unfortunately, this is just how it works, and you see this a lot of times in politics and government, whether it's local or federal. It's like the only card they know is to say, "Well, we got to stop this. This is not safe," and start to create that narrative, and then it'll start with really small changes. Like they'll make a initially a very non-consequential change to the protocol to sort of get the ball rolling in that direction and show that they have the power. So I'm generally a very optimistic person. I mean, I had to building stuff on Bitcoin SV for 3 years. You had to sort of hold this place of optimism above everything else. I hope that it doesn't happen, but what we've seen is that for whatever reason, these cryptocurrency foundation, let's just call them core developers or core key holders, they tend to not want to take any responsibility or be accountable for anything until it's time for them to show that they have the keys. It's really what that's about for them. For whatever reason, they have a particular urge to exercise their powers and mostly in the way of just slowing things down or stopping things or changing things and sort of rugging the protocol, so to speak. So I would say it's a big red flag, and I think that it should be taken seriously. And I really think the cure to that problem is to basically have exponentials, like to just try to grow the Doginal movement as fast as possible, because there could be real consequences to allowing these guys to get any steam whatsoever with that narrative. And there's just such a big upside with Dogecoin. Whether it's BTC or Doge or BSV or whatever, there's going to be a blockchain that's going to be able to run the internet, essentially, whether that's payments, data, etc. And Doge has an opportunity to do that. I really believe that. I mean, it has its problems here and there to support that type of scale, but it's still sort of in such a like a virgin state, so to speak, that it could be moved into the right direction. And what these guys are proposing or initially coming out with is definitely not the right direction. So just hold strong, and I would say that it's as soon as they say it, it can become very real very quickly. And even if every 99 out of 100 people don't agree with that change, it doesn't mean that these core developers won't just do what they want to do to feel like they're saving the day. For whatever reason, that's what they feel like will save the day.
Well, I was on a space with who was it? Patrick, who's one of the core devs, and he seemed to think he didn't think there was even a way that it could really be stopped. I mean, he was like to get enough nodes or consensus around it, he felt was just basically impossible. Do you get that feeling, or you feel like they could actually do something to turn this off?
I would have to do more of an analysis on the actual infrastructure of Doge, like, how much, like, where is all the mining power, and things like that. Which, like, right now in real time, I don't have like enough information to really make a diagnosis, but I would hope that he's right. But in the sense, I actually hope he's wrong. What we really, really need in a perfect world would be that we have coordination to make changes to make the blockchain actually support more traffic, higher throughput, more data at the same or lower fees, to be a little bit more stable. So you'd almost hope that they can make these changes and coordinate. But the changes, if there are going to be changes, need to be happening in the opposite direction that they initially announced, saying that, Dogecoin is sick. I mean, this is just crazy, bizarre rhetoric, and that they're talking to exchanges. So who's really in charge? Is it the core developers of the keys and the exchanges? Are they the ones really that are going to run the show here? Well, the market and the customer base wants to do everything on chain all the time. And what we're going to see in the future is if these guys do want to move stuff off chain, that we're just going to keep working our way down onto whatever blockchain. And eventually the name of the blockchain won't matter. It'll be like, does the blockchain support doing everything you want to do on chain instantly at a good price? And if it does do that, then that's where the market's going to go. We just don't want to have to keep going through these cycles and setting ourselves back sometimes 2-3 years at a time, because there's definitely waves of excitement that you need to push it to actually be a serious movement. And if the market's going down a lot, that's going to set us back even further. So we're really trying to avoid these setbacks. We've been in Bitcoin for 10 years, Doge not that long after. So let's just say 10 years. And we're just now getting to this point. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous to me. I've been saying this for a long time, and a lot of my followers can back that up. It's ridiculous that 10 years of Bitcoin and we're just now doing ordinals, and then we're still having the same problems we had 5 years ago. Okay, well, that means we just got bad leadership, guys. And you know what? Even worse, it's our fault because we're allowing these people to take these positions of power. We accept that. It's up to us to not accept those people and to appoint good leadership. And I will say the thing that is different now in this ecosystem is that markets with real businesses like Ordinals Wallet and my team, we've taken leadership positions through the proof of work, concept of building good businesses that people like and use. So we're having a more competitive leadership environment within these blockchains. That I think is the more optimal or like the nicer thing of this environment now. It wasn't really existing as much in the past. So we have opportunity to sort of work in the direction of like who's really putting themselves out there and risking their lives. And I'm 30 years old. I'm putting the pride of my life into these things. We should trust more people like that. Whether it's not me, that's fine. If you have somebody else you'd like to sort of take your backing on, but we don't want to take backing on people who are actively moving this thing forward, but yet claiming their control.
So I have here pulled up on the live stream a tweet from Little Shibe. If you don't know who that is, he's one of the original Dogecoin NFT pioneers. He minted some of the earliest NFTs on Doge Party back in 2014. He's been on the show many times. He said, Dogecoin started as a joke. Now many see it as a currency and want to treat it as such. I find that funny. They want to wrestle for control and do what's best, all while forgetting it's a joke. Your motive is showing. I found that tweet to be really interesting about how the narratives flow. At the end of the day, it always comes down to, on every UTXO chain, spam. I don't know why we went through this with ordinals, we went through it with Counterparty, we've gone through it with Bitcoin stamps, and now it's making its way down to Doge.
I can promise you this, Jake. You will never get this argument on the Bells Coin blockchain. The Bells Coin blockchain is the stupidest and will always remain the joke blockchain, the most ridiculous blockchain of all time. So spam away, my friend.
Until we get Bell's Maxis.
Until we get the Bell's Maxis.
It's so two things I want to say. And so here, Elon Musk tweeted, it looks like almost 3 years ago, ideally, Doge speeds up block time 10x, increase the block size by 10x,
yes,
drops the fee 100x, and then it winds hands down. Josh, I wanted to ask you about this because I've seen you post some very thoughtful tweets and like kind of long form about this. What would happen if the block size was increased on Doge?
Well, I mean, really, we're getting to a point right now where it would be a great time to experiment with that because you have more transactions than the chain can handle, right? So there's some adjustments that can be made to just be able to accept more transactions. What happens when you have a block size restriction is it's just price control. So what you really see today, and really I saw it starting yesterday, getting pretty serious, where services were changing their fee defaults to like higher than market, and it creates like a bidding war for your fees. And some people want to take the stance that's a good thing. It's securing the network, et cetera, et cetera. But if we increase the block size, or let's just call it, the block size has such a bad stigma. So I've been trying my best to kind of like reword that to like, if we can increase the amount of traffic or throughput on the blockchain, technically, and we're seeing 100x growth, we increase the throughput 100x, and we see 100x growth. We have the same net fees for the market, for the miners. So it's a pretty simple math thing, and we got an ongoing joke with me and some of my closer friends and teammates that math is definitely my specialty. I'm not a math guy, but the math is simple. And for anyone to understand, I've been working on that in the last few weeks, just trying to like show very simply how really the changes are not that drastic or crazy. And if there's a proof in the market that there's a big push, we have customers right now that haven't been able to move their money for like 3 days because they just had a fee too low or whatever, and the thing is congested. And so I think it's really not that big of a deal. You could increase the throughput 50x, and then we get 100x of the volume like that we've seen compared to like last year. Let's just use a point in time now. Well, then the miners are actually making double. So this is even better, and you still get cheaper fees. The savings are passed to the customer, and it's encouraging future growth. And you see that there's optimism in the development rather than pessimism, right? Removing and constraining. We have now improving and opening, and the customers actually realize that there's a savings because the fees can be lower, and the services that provide the inscription and minting and transaction services get better margins. We could charge less money providing a service and even have a better profit margin. So it's a win across the board. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple math. There's always like this traumatic stigma where like people have been overly brainwashed with this BTC situation and how it played out 5 years ago. And luckily though, that's washing away slowly but surely. But I'm going to stand right here in front of everyone and say that, look, it's not that complicated. It's a quite simple problem to solve. Sure, there might be new problems that arrive when you improve a system. That's how all systems work, software, hardware, anything you do in the world will always have a new problem arrive. When you go ahead and improve or iterate on something, a new problem will come, but that's not the reason not to improve. I mean, just imagine we never did that with cars. We would be sitting on horses right now, and that just doesn't make sense. And I think everyone can agree with that. And I'm trying to get better over the last 3 years at breaking things down like I am now in a little more simple format, where I had been previously a lot more esoteric and big picture, like we're going to run our operating systems on Bitcoin and get all, I got very abstract and have this big vision. Though I believe that's true, we will eventually do that. We can break it down to very simple things. We can take things step by step, just like how I run my business. We evaluate opportunities, we assign values to them. We then we can prioritize, and then we break those priorities down into small steps so that we have incremental improvement on each feature or category or whatever. A blockchain is no different than that. And I don't understand how we can make changes that go backwards or restrain, and that's okay. But we can't make changes that improve and optimize the system. That's the paradox that we've lived in for the last 10 years, and we're trying to flip the switch on that. I'd also like to make a point to the Bells comment. I have a tweet. I'd have to dig it up, and maybe I can nest it here in a moment. But the reason that we added Bells, and I found Bells so interesting, is that it's the closest thing to the original Bitcoin release. Not just like the code or something. I'm talking about like the concept of it, like getting released into the wild. Anyone can kind of go in there and get involved and mine it and so on. And it's a very immature blockchain that needs more time and energy to support and have bigger throughput. But it's absolutely a great point to point out that Bells has it doesn't have like this foundation of these neckbeard, laser eyes, whatever you want to call them, these type of people, this certain stereotype of person. It doesn't really have that. So that's a huge advantage in the long run. Should it gain steam, or should Doge shut this down, well, then Bells is going to grow exponentially. So I'm coming from a stance, just to make this really clear with everyone, to end this little rant, is that I've implemented BTC. We have Doge, we have Bells, we have BSV. We know BSV well. We know those are kind of our things. That's our little bucket of things. They're all proof of work, UTXO systems. They're all related in some form or manner. We understand the systems. We know how to operate them. We are set up for success. Should the little governments, the little cartels, start shutting things down on one, where it pours over to the other, we're going to benefit greatly. I could benefit a lot from Doge shutting down right now. I obviously do not want that at all, though. I do not think that's that's a good thing at all. And particularly with the Elon Musk factor with Doge, where there's always a potential that he's going to leverage it because he publicly likes it. That's a huge thing. I mean, we could really it could be overnight where this thing is like competing now on a whole new level. I mean, we're talking beyond cryptocurrencies. We're talking this thing could be running the rails of like Twitter's payment systems and things like that. And that's what really gets me excited. And I can't imagine a world where we shut down that opportunity.
We're going to fork Doge, increase the block height, call it Dogecoin EV. Dogecoin.
Doge Shiba Vision is my proposal. Should it come
That's
down?
right. That's right. Shiba Vision.
That's a good one. I do also want to note, so Very Doge Labs runs one of the largest marketplaces, came out and said, contrary to popular belief, we are convinced Dogecoin is using too large of a block size in comparison to the current traffic. They said this might sound weird, but the buffer is so high that miners are not incentivized to make the blocks as full as possible. So I just wanted to note that there are even, leaders in the space who are, at least in the current state, opposed to an increase in block size. So I think this is a discussion that we'll have to continue for a long time, but we need these open format conversations because it's really important. Adam, I do want to ask you, who's somebody who helped revive Bells. And for those that don't know, Bells coin was actually created originally by Billy Marcus, who created Dogecoin. It was originally deployed 6 days, I believe, before Dogecoin, and then it died, and then they revived it. Adam's in conversation actually with Dogecoin developers because there's plans to merge mine Bells coin with Dogecoin. Has the Dogecoin developers you've been in contact with ever brought up Doginals and their concern about it?
Never.
No.
No. I mean, I wouldn't, of course, share like publicly what we said anyway. And all I can say is they've been tremendously helpful. Really, really good guys who care a lot. I think it's, this is part of what we saw in Ordinals too. Obviously, both sides really, really care, right? And when you get this community of developers who've probably been working for free for years supporting Doge, I think it's important we always treat them with respect, right? In the same way what we saw with Counterparty, right? There's no reason to attack these guys. They're doing what they think is best for the network and have knowledge probably that we don't have about, how fragile it may be. And I'm speaking for myself here, but I just know these things, we take them as, they're blockchains, they're robust, but not always, right? And especially when, Dogecoin is, 2013 tech that's been, finagled to kind of keep running, but these guys work hard to keep this thing running. Like, it's not just like set it and forget it, right? So I think part of these open conversations we need to have with them are, hey, what are the issues? What's the real problems behind here? Where do you see it as like, hey, loading the block space with these, where's the real concern? Like, where's the concern coming from? Is it like the Bitcoin maxis? Well, we're worried that people won't be able to transact in Doge. Or no, actually, what we're really concerned about is, block size bloat and, server overload. And, hey, I'm running this on my server in my closet and I'm worried about it. What are the real issues they're dealing with? I think it's important that we maintain like open conversations with them to kind of understand their real concerns and, try to move forward as a community. I think that's the best strategy.
Yeah, I believe as well. Well, let's get to kind of, moving past the bloat conversation, but, tangentially related to it. One of the causes of it is this mint on something called Dbit, which was deployed, I believe, in December, so a few months ago. I have it here pulled up on the screen, Ordinals wallet. That you can see this is where a lot of the minting's done. This is where I've done some of the minting. Although through the congestion, I have seen a lot of people have spun up nodes so that they could just start minting it on their own. It's about 76% minted. It has the same metrics as Sats. I think this is the one coin I've seen the community really, really rally behind, which is, really exciting. 8-Bit, I'd like to ask you, I've seen you, have a lot of commentary on it, talking about nodes and minting. What are your thoughts on the Dbit mint and how have you gone about inscribing this thing?
Totally, bro. I think that in any market, the people are going to speak the loudest, right? And I think when they were presented with an opportunity to perhaps mint like the sats of Dogecoin, that's what it was being marketed as, they did it and they're doing it right now. It's at 76%. The holder base is kind of organic. And dude, it kind of made the fees rise up dramatically. So, my whole thing is that I want to educate people. I want to give them an unbiased approach and tell them how they're going to deploy, how they're going to mint. And if they miss the mint or they can't mint, where to buy. And I think that's where what really led me to kind of educating folks on running nodes, bro. It puts the power back in your hand.
How hard is it to spin up a node?
You could do it literally within an hour and then just set it and forget it, bro.
And
really? Like it's not a huge download or anything like that?
It's a huge download, and I definitely recommend doing it on an SSD. But as far as like technicalities, brother, it's pretty simple.
Oh, it's simple, easy. Okay, cool.
And for those who may be interested in inscribing on through their own node, what is the inscription cost difference between a node and, let's say, inscribing on Ordinals Market or Very Doge Labs or any type of inscription service?
So it's night and day, brother. It's going to be at your control. So what I was finding was the fee rate that ApeSword actually laid down in the original GitHub was not going to be sufficient. So I pushed it. I pushed it up maybe to double, and it was pushing the transactions through. So in that sense, it's really putting the control into the user's hand, and that's really what I want to do.
No problem. I'm excited to see what happens when this mints out. We've had a handful of tokens attempt to claim to be the sats or just large supplies that has large, that has an increase in market cap. I have here pulled up Doggy Market, who I actually invited onto the show. They said they couldn't make it today. Hopefully we'll get them in the future. DBit's currently sitting at 2,525 holders, an $800,000 market cap. And the price has been increasing. It looks like there's $200,000 in total volume and $30,000 in volume. It's about 50% higher than than Doji in the 24-hour mark. Some of the other tokens, that were claimed to be sats was Oink, which has 17,000 holders. It's fallen off a little bit. And then one of the OGs, FIWB, Fuck It We Bark, has the most holders of any coin at 45,845. I actually remember inscribing that back, and I think it was like May.
Oh, wait, why floor price falling? What's happening, Jake? What's happening in my FIWB, man? That's supposed to be the top. Like, what's happened to my community, bro? Right? Why are you guys letting this fall? What's happening?
It's interesting when you look at the differences, right? So I've here pulled up the Doge Labs marketplace, and FIWB, most of the trading happens on the Doge Labs marketplace. You see most of these that are all the top volume on Doge Labs marketplace are all like the OG tokens, whereas a lot of the newer ones where you see here on the 24-hour ticker or trading on Doggy Market are all the newer coins, all the kind of like either community coins or like project focused tokens, which we'll get into here in a second. I think it's kind of interesting. Personally, I think FIWB is still here to stay. When you look at kind of the differences between both community or both marketplaces, you've seen retail's really pivoted towards retail and creators, I should say, is really pivoted towards Doggy Market. Undeniable. You can clearly see it. Whereas Doge Labs is really moved towards this kind of B2B model. They're the one that's providing the infrastructure to OKX. They're providing it to Gate. I'm assuming they'll probably be the ones that provides it to Binance whenever they hop on board. And they've made it pretty clear that FIWB is going to be integrated into whatever they're doing. And also just, you've seen large buys on FIWB. I mean, I've seen $50,000 purchases multiple times. My guess is that's probably exchanges coming in and buying it. It's the same exact thing that Unisat and OKX and Binance did. You come in and buy it, right? Because you need it to market make when you're adding it to a central exchange. They could also be inscribing DBit, right? And it could be that as well. Will we see something like Unisat's swap module where you're rewarded in sats? I think a lot of people are kind of speculating that that'll eventually happen on Dogecoin and on Doginals, but like, what's the platform that's going to do that? What is the token? It's really still kind of open air. Doji's still hanging around, right? $40 million market cap off of, I think it got up to 110 million at one point. But if you look at all of the BRC20 markets and the derivatives, everything really moves in unison with ORDI. Whenever ORDI moves, everything else really pumps. It's the same thing with, when you look at the inscription markets across the chain, whenever Bitcoin pumps, Bitcoin punks pump, then all of the other punks pump as well. Stamp punks, Litecoin punks, etc. It's kind of a similar situation here. I think we still have probably a month or two of consolidation before everything really picks back up. You need more infrastructure. I mean, if you're in crypto, you know, if you've been in it for a while, you kind of know the market dynamics where it's the price always outruns the infrastructure. And then you get this very heavy volatility downwards. And then during this consolidation period is when the infrastructure comes in and starts improving. And then at some point in the future, the infrastructure then outpaces the value that's existing. And then then you run it all back again. And we're in that heavy consolidation period. That's, you know, that all moves off of Ordi. I guess in this current kind of metric. But one project I found really interesting over time that's, I think, to me, like kind of setting itself apart from all of the other tokens is Woofy Swap and the token Woofy. You know, there are some things that I will discuss that, you know, I would say maybe concerning or maybe, you know, up for debate. But one thing that they've done pretty clear, in my opinion, is definitely nailed their strategy and marketing. Like the things that they've said that they were going to do, they've definitely hit. Also, they haven't rugged, I guess, which is kind of nice. They also just put a post out, right? They also put a post out, oh, it looks like 30 seconds ago, that says they're seeking insights for potential pipelines for their launch pad. Again, I'm not affiliated with Uniswap. I actually invited them on to the show. They said that they are focused on building, and once they are ready to come back to market, then they will join the show. I believe they're India-based developers, so I think there is also somewhat of a language barrier there. But I told them it's somewhat of the right response. If you're early and you just want to continue to build and not put as much focus on the marketing, then in the early stages, that can be right. I mean, Adam, how many times have we seen where a project comes out and they market themselves into oblivion and then they don't hit anything that they're marketing and it just completely implodes?
For sure. Yep. You tried that one, didn't you? You tried?
Yeah, I actually put a thread out about it. And so this is actually one of
the top. Yeah. So that was a good thread.
Yeah. So this is the computer I'm on. It's not where everything is. So it's not connected. But the one thing I put this tweet out after I actually tried it and LP'd it. I put some tokens into the Woofy Doge pair and honestly, nothing's happened. So it is
no rewards. You haven't.
There's no rewards. They've said that there's trading. There's no way to really verify it. So, you know, from the back end, we have no idea really what's happening there. It could just be some sort of just, you know, deposit centralized exchange kind of model. Yep. We really don't know, which is, you know, the one concerning thing. But everything else they've really hit, right? But at the end of the day, I'd said that, you know, they can hit all these marketing markets. They can have all these things go through their launchpad, which makes sense because you need to generate revenue if you want to have a long-term business model. And having a launchpad is, from what I've learned, especially with our Vault Pad launch, this is how a lot of teams stay alive, is, you know, making or helping projects get to market with sharing their credibility through their own launchpad. But at some point, you know, they got to nail it on the protocol level before or for the community to get acceptance. But from a value perspective, the Woofy Swap the token was hitting like very consistently number 1 or number 2 for a little while. I think it has sold off a little bit, but was up to almost a $4 million market cap. Now it's down to 1.5. I don't know if anyone else is on stage has any opinions on Woofy Swap or any type of project that they find a little interesting. If you do, raise your hand. I'd love to call on you. But Adam, I'll ask you this question then. Since our first spaces back in, I think it was June or July with Doginals community, all the projects were gaming focused.
Yeah. And
you're
metaverses, right? It was like
we're actually somewhat critical of it, but have you changed your mind now, saying that they got the attention of the maxis? There's new projects coming to market. Are you still skeptical of it?
Well, I'm definitely still skeptical of running back the 21 bull run with metaverses and games, because I think what I learned from that is both of those are extremely, extremely difficult to get and maintain attention. Like for a game, it needs to be an amazing game, and we all know that that's darn near impossible, 1 in a million. And a metaverse is the same thing. Like I go in the immersive metaverse on my kids, Meta Quest or whatever. And like I'm in there for 15 minutes, I'm bored, I leave, right? It's really, really difficult. Those two things, and there's the same reason, the bitmaps didn't really entice me for that same reason. However, the shitcoinery, that shit works, bro. Period. Full stop. Like this is what people are vastly interested in. They are vastly interested in number go up, and that can be shitcoins or it can be NFTs, right? And so I think both of those, you see this like rich ecosystem is already happening on Dogecoin. And so, I don't think that's going anywhere. Like, because that is a well-established thing that people want. Period. Full stop. They want it bad. And so here it is, man. I mean, it's amazing how quickly this has exploded. And I mean, we've said it again and again. It is Doge is, other than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin obviously is number one. It's not going anywhere. Everybody knows Bitcoin. Doge is number two, man. I mean, worldwide, it's not Ethereum. Most people know Dogecoin ahead of Ethereum. Like, and I'm like
talking about this from a branding perspective.
Just from a branding perspective, like kids know Dogecoin. They don't know what the hell Ethereum is, but they know Doge. So I think it has a huge advantage, and I think you guys are in this space and have taken a position. Like, it might not happen for you, but if it does happen, it could be amazing. There's no doubt about that.
5.5 million holders, which is a lot. I don't know what Ethereum's holder rate is. I know some of the smart contract platforms have pretty high degree of holder base, but I think it's quite convincing. 5.5 million for a UTXO based chain. That's probably number two. I don't know what Litecoins is, but it's definitely up there. Yep. Ren, what are you thinking?
Good morning. I just wanted to add to that. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you, Chris, for reaching out and inviting me to the space. I appreciate that. But yes, I'm very committed to Doge. I've been a Doge holder and supporter for a few years now, but I'm just so excited to see the progress that's happening, especially with Doginals. I've been learning for the last couple months, so I'm new to the whole Doginal thing. A couple months ago, I rolled up on a space with 8-bit, and it's been crazy ever since. I mean, 8-bit, he's created an amazing resource for you guys. I mean, for everyone just coming new to the space, or even people that know some about it. But he offers free information for learning. He's created the Ordle library, which is so full of information. I mean, you guys got to check it out. He's tweeting daily and nightly. He's doing spaces. He's on a mission to educate everyone that truly wants to learn. So that's where I started with my journey in Doginals, and forever grateful. But I've learned so much, and right now I'm just focusing on accumulating and trying to educate others myself now, while I'm still learning every day. But yeah, I'm ready to download my node. I'm super excited about that. But most importantly too, I want to touch on Doginal dogs and just the love that I have for that project, and the positive, fun energy that we have in the Doginal dogs community is undeniable, contagious. It was created by Bark Meta along with Shibo and Books. It started as a free mint, and just under a month, I mean, it's grown to, an amazing 13,400 floor today, over 14.8 million in volume. So anyway, I'm just trying to contribute and do my part to the space, in hopes to increase, awareness and education as well, and bring the Doge community together and unite everybody for one mission. We're more powerful together. So I appreciate you inviting me. Thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate you for speaking. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah. Anyone else who's on stage who has any comments, please just raise your hand. Or if anyone wants to come on stage and give any comments, then you're also more than welcome. One narrative I've been focusing on, and we were kind of touching on already, right, with WoofySwap, is this idea of like DeFi on Doge, right? For DeFi to operate, you need high transaction throughput. And right, it seems like Dogecoin could be that. It was doing 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 transactions per block, which is per minute. That won't make it completely there, but that's definitely better than what Bitcoin's pushing. And there's some exciting projects that I've seen, so we'll cover some of them to see what's happening. Right, obviously, crypto is this copy pasta method where they'll take successful protocols, they'll just apply to a new blockchain and say, hey, does this stick? Does it not stick? And so one of the first ones that had popped up was actually Dipe. If you guys are familiar with Track, they created Pipe, which is like their version of Runes. This gentleman, Ethan, had created Dipe. I got to mint some, and there was a mad rush for it. He does say that there's a marketplace coming soon. Kind of funny. Adam and I were talking about this before. He created the protocol, and there was a fast mint. I think it was like the beginning of December. And 2 days later, we reached out to him from Emblem Vault. We said, hey, if you provide us an API, we could get this thing trading on OpenSea and people could trade safely. He was like, yeah, no problem. We'll have it in 2 days. We're now 2 months into this. And I think an indexer has finally been created, and you could transfer. So this marketplace is coming next. But it just goes to show that this stuff's tough, and a lot of developers don't really understand the undertaking to build something like this, and that's why I give Ordinal Wallet a lot of prop, because they've been able to systematize this to a degree to where they can just kind of plug and play different UTXOs within a few clicks of a button. And so it is really beautiful. Pipe, it should be interesting to see. There's a few other projects we'll go on, but first I'd like to call on to Helmer.
Thanks for calling on me, man. I just have a question for you guys. Like DRC20s right now for like the actual tokens. I was wondering what you guys' favorite DRC20s are right
now. Doji, I suppose. That's the easiest one to go into. Doji F5WB, and we did Woofy. I'm not going to shill a bunch, to be honest. We just really talked about that the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's all good. I was actually looking at DBit. I have a question about DBit. I don't really know too much about it. Like, I just know that like the floor price right now is 400 Doge for I think 100 million or 100 billion. Yeah, 100 billion. So I don't know if that's like a good entry price. Like, I feel like it is.
Well, I think you could still mine it, right? I mean, wouldn't it be? What do you think, 8-bit? Is it worth it just to inscribe it yourself?
Yeah, totally, brother. Yeah, you could do like a max mint. You could actually loop it with a bulk mint function.
Yeah, if you go to Ordinal's wallet, you could go ahead and inscribe it. There's still about 25% remaining. It'll be cheaper than buying on secondary, although I think the difference is maybe 10 to 20% from buying to inscribing.
All right, so I'll just inscribe them. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. What's
so
up,
Ordinal's wallet?
Yep, you go ahead and do it on Ordinal's wallet. They have a great UX. There's literally just a mint button and a slider. It makes it really simple to do. Go ahead, Kay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for inviting me to this space. This is actually my first space in Twitter, but I've been a part of the crypto community since the last crypto cycle. I've learned a lot throughout the way, and I just wanted to go back to the NFT topic real quick. I think that from what we learned last cycle, that we should really be looking into NFTs with one, utility, I think, is a really important aspect. We already know from like last cycle that most people can make NFTs that just look cool, like make the art look cool, whatever. But what sets good NFTs aside this cycle, I think, are really, they have to have like that utility aspect, whether it's gaming. Like there's something I'm into right now called Doginal Paypays. They have this coin coming up as well, DPEP. So like that's another utility function. And they also have a video game. So like, the video game. But yeah, I think we really have to look at utility, community engagement, and as well as if the devs are consistent. So if an NFT meets all those criterias, I think it'll do well this bull run. And yeah, that's really what I just wanted to add.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks for coming up, man, and congrats on making it to the stage for the first time. Takes a lot of courage to do so. It only gets easier from here. So yeah, please feel free to raise your hand and join us anytime.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. There was somebody else who had their hand
up.
Yeah,
I might be moving people up and down because there are a bunch of people who have their hands up to come on stage.
Go ahead, NFT Guru.
Good day, everyone. So firstly, I want to thank 8bit for everything he does for the Doginals community, hosting spaces daily. I would love to congratulate him and also encourage him to continue doing it because personally it has helped me and encouraged me. So my question here is, I've been seeing a project named Hub. I think they are trying to be the track of Doginals. But I think Benny and his team are building the indexing stuff for Doginals. So please, what do you guys think about Hub? Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take this one. So actually, Track, Emblem has a private or a group DM with Track. We have a close relationship with them. They moved into Doginals in December. I don't want to give away too much information on what they're doing, but they're definitely committed to it from the conversations that we've had with them. I did invite their team member, the Track team member, who's focused solely on Doginals. He was one of the internationally based team members where English was not their native language. But I do recommend following their account. I believe within the next few months, they should be coming out with whatever their version of a lot of the Doginal stuff that they're doing. So they're taking a lot of what they're doing on Bitcoin ordinals and then trying to apply it, right? Whether it's bitmap or just indexing for a lot of these projects. It's obviously really needed. Right before I started calling on hands, Adam and I were talking about the Dipe Mint, where Ethan had created Pipe on Doge. Obviously, he's a little bit inexperienced and then realized building an indexer for it is not a 2-day mission, but actually a 2-month mission. And so with Track coming in here, people can go and deploy all these projects and they could just go to them and they'll have that indexer up pretty frictionlessly because it does kill momentum when you do not have everything completely aligned. Although I do say it is very tough to build in this space. It is not an easy feat for managing everything from the technical to the culture to the marketing, etc. I'm quite bullish on it. But I don't know specifically what they want to do, but if they're doing everything, if they're taking what they're doing on Bitcoin ordinals and just applying it to Doge, I mean, it's a massive positive. Art Jedi, I think you had your hand up.
I was hiding. How did you see me, Jake?
What's up?
I raised my hand and I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna have a pizza, so drop my hand because it's like 6 p.m. in UK. But first of all, congratulations, guys! 100, 101. Yeah, big deal. It's like 6, 7, 8 months, even like with 3-4 days a week. That's consistency, and yeah, super honored and super, I don't know, just really grateful to be here and just be in this space listening to you guys. You're the brain bank. You're the geeks that kind of, I'm like, I'm a geek. I don't look like one, but I definitely am. And I have a doctorate in my name to prove it for my bank. But I think my contribution to this conference, I kind of forgot even what I came in. I actually just came in here to congratulate you. But also, for anyone who doesn't know me, I am a pioneer in this space. I've been an artist for a very long time. And I think my main and sole mission is to facilitate knowledge. I'm a connoisseur of knowledge. And I always have this at the back of my mind, the fathers and the mothers who can't be online all the time. And like, how do I, since I'm present, I'm here, and blockchain, it definitely is proof of presence, right? So like, how do I document this information that I'm constantly receiving by being present and being connected to all of these mega amazing, intelligent people in this space? So I've actually, Jake, I don't know, Adam, you guys, I've been kind of transcribing some of his spaces. I've been listening keenly for months and months. And yeah, I think I just I transcribe and then I kind of pose my own questions. So I'm writing about you guys. I don't know, secretly, I guess. But my main thing is every blockchain, this is the reality of things, that artists are the gentrifiers of everything. So anything that needs a bit of validation kind of goes to artists first. And so I am that bridge. But I understand I have a very scientific background, a very logical mind, but also a very free spirit. So I understand the deep end of it, but also have the ability to facilitate that knowledge to a certain extent. And I'm not like I'm very humble to also be able to ask questions when I don't understand. So I want anyone who doesn't know me, for instance, please get in touch. I'm creating a catalog of everything that's happening on Bitcoin, everything that's happening on altcoins, for artists, for future generations, for like once we're dead and they can come in. If somebody's born today, like what is the future for this? Everything that's happening today, right? That's the longevity is the question. I just came back from a vow of silence for 2 days, so I'm losing my voice as well. But I just want to say that, just congratulations. And I want to mint on Belt's chains because I want to be a pioneer, even if it's 15 million inscriptions beyond. But I'm on your side, so please just get in touch and, I don't know, help me help you.
We really appreciate your support, Art Jedi, and joining us all the time. And I'm interested to see what type of documentation you've been writing down there. For those who don't know, this is Adam and I and Chris. We've been doing this show since last year. So yesterday was our 100th episode. So that's what she meant by episode 101. And congratulations. I'm going to call on some hands. I actually just got a DM from an account that said, I deployed Dbit with the envision of it being the sats on Doge. And so far, my vision has played out beautifully. So I don't know if that account's Anon or not, or if it's the real one, but that there's an account that just hopped in the DMs and said that. So the vision is being played out. We're going to call on Latoshi. We'll go to Drippy and Drippy right after.
Good morning. Good morning. First of all, thank you to everyone for this space. We'll bring the opportunity to talk about Doginals and GRC20. I think it's important to do that, to move forward and try to build something that can benefit to every Doge and Doginals believer. So yeah, I really appreciate it, and I want to thank all people present today. And I wanted to introduce my project because today, if we are all here, it's because of one Doge, which is Kabozu. This dog inspired the birth of Dogecoin. That's why I wanted to pay an homage to the queen, which is Kabozu. The ticker is Dozu, and the creator of Dogecoin, Billy Marcus himself, agreed to support and hold some Dozu token. So yeah, I just wanted to pay an homage to this legendary, which is the most legendary dog in crypto. We inspired the birth of Dogecoin. We inspired the birth of SHIB, because the narrative of SHIB was the Dogecoin killer. So and yeah, beside the cryptos, this dog have do a lot of things. It's an inspiration for a story for a lot of people. So yeah, thank you very much to have heard me, and yeah, I hope we can see a lot of space talking about Doginals. Thank Jakes, Adam, and Emblem. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you for coming up and raising your hand. Yeah, the DOSU token, DOSU, for those that didn't hear, has been actually trending on Doggy Market and seems to have some community support. So congratulations on your success thus far. I think it has surpassed over $1 million in market cap pretty recently. I don't have it in front of me, but if I remember. I will go to Drippy and then Doge Clowns right after.
What's up? Yeah, I kind of just wanted to bring attention to something. So I guess like 2 weeks ago, I'm sure we're all pretty familiar with BRC 420. About 2 weeks ago, 8-Bit actually inscribed the GLTF file that I created onto Dogecoin. Probably the first, as far as we know. I mean, if I'm wrong, somebody can let me know. But I'm pretty sure it's the first like GLTF file inscribed onto Dogecoin.
Can you explain what that is first?
Yeah, it's really just a 3D model on chain. I don't believe it uses recursion. I'm not super technical, right? That's kind of why I had 8-Bit go ahead and do it for me. But I kind of just created it. I was, he's not here anymore. Honestly, I was gonna ask Elon Moist if he was considering supporting DRC 420 on his marketplace after we deployed it. But yeah, I kind of wanted to bring that up. Also, just kind of see if anybody else has done it, and also to see if like we were the first, basically.
You may be. Also, I would reach out to Harry H. Beckery, who's the developer at Ordinals Wallet. He's generally the person to talk to about getting support, since he's the one that's kind of in the trenches doing it. But it sounds like you're the first, if no one has any objections to it.
Shout out 8-Bit, man. He's been innovating like crazy.
Yeah.
72 hours to log objections. Otherwise, it's you.
It gets
Sold.
certified on chain. Yeah.
Sold. We'll go to Doge Clowns and then Chris right after.
Hello, everyone. My name is DJ Jingles. Thanks for calling on me, Jake. I have a quick question for Emblem, and then back to you, Jake. Emblem, where can we put a clown in the vault?
Adam, what do you think? We put
No,
some
no vault, no clowns in the vault. No clowns allowed. Sorry, buddy.
Adam is terrified of clowns. You might have just
So
struck a
scared. So, bro, instant fear. Shivers up the spine. Terrified.
Wonderful.
Hey,
I respect it. Now I have a question for Jake, the man, the myth, the legend. Jake, do you have a lot of friends on Bitcoin Ordinals?
Yeah, we've got a lot of friends on chain. Yeah, I like to network and have a lot of fun, dude. Exciting. Also, to answer your last question, for those that are wondering, right now Emblem has a Dogecoin wallet. If there is any API providers out there who would like to give us Doginal support, we will literally turn on the Doginal button tomorrow. I had approached 2 different providers asking for an API. They did not have it. So if there's anyone out there who has an API that could give us balances of Doginals, you'll be able to trade on Ethereum and take it cross-chain as soon as you want.
That's wonderful. Great to hear that, Jake. And I'm happy to hear you have so many friends on Bitcoin Ordinals. So what I'm wondering, Jake, is when are you going to bring them over here to Doginals so the clowns can use them as exit liquidity?
Yes, dude. The thing with the Ordinals, right? We got to find the left curvers on Ordinals and bring them over. No mid curves on it. We need either right curve or left curve to use. Left curve is liquidity, the right side as the infrastructure providers, so that we can build the liquidity. Are you the mid curve, Doge Clowns, or what side of the curve are you on?
We're the pile of the barrel, Jake, but it seems that all our clowns don't understand this. They keep listing our clowns for over 500 Doge, and I told those bastards 3 Doge. That's it, but they're not listening.
I fucking love it, dude. Please, at all of our Dogecoin or all of our Doginal spaces, please come on stage so we could ask you as many questions as possible. Yeah, I love the clowns, actually. Not as terrified maybe as Adam is, but we can handle it. See, Adam's wiping his eye over here. He's terrified.
So
appreciate you, Doge Clowns. What's up, Chris?
Yo, man, connection has been rough this week, but we're back. Just, really love hanging out with the Doge community. It's cool to see it kind of, really, really blow up in such a community-centric way. We were in 8-Bit space last night, kind of talking, and they were like, why would Emblem be interested in Doge? And what can Emblem do for something like Doge? And why would their Doges like to move across chain? So what do you think about that, Jake?
Yeah, actually, I've had a few requests for Doginals. It seems like a handful of people want to inscribe Doginal assets and then trade it on Solana. Everything is always, hey, I want to inscribe the asset on this chain and trade it on Solana. I think it's also reaching a new type of audience. So if anybody wasn't aware, we did a 10K Embells mint the last week, which was Embells. So we used Viva La Vandal as the artist. We created this tool called a Vault Pad, where it's a cross-chain launch pad, where in this instance, we inscribed Bell's coin assets and traded it on Ethereum, and it sold out within 5 to 6 hours, and then did 250 ETH in volume up until today. Yes, I know if you're listening, we did have some mistakes that we made on the afterwards, but the demand was there. But the point I'm getting at here was we exposed 2,200 Ethereum holders to Bell's Coin. A lot of people bought the assets, which they didn't even know what Bell's Coin was, and they said, "Hey, this is awesome!" Right now, they're now being onboarded into the ecosystem. We become so tribalistic, or we exist in these kind of echo chambers of our own blockchains. We forget to realize that a lot of other individuals want exposure to these ecosystems, but they want to purchase these assets in whatever they feel most comfortable with. They want to buy Doginals in Ethereum. They want to buy Doginals right in Solana, or buy Doginals with Bitcoin. And they don't want to leave their ecosystem. But if you give them exposure and put it right in front of them, they'll buy it. And then we proved that model on Thursday with 10,000 assets from Bell's Coins. And so from that instance, right, if you're creating these cross-chain experiences, some users, they just want all of their assets in one single place on Ethereum or on Solana or whatever it is. And, for a lot of people, maybe they don't want to do it on Ethereum because of the gas fees or whatever. But when we did this Embells mint cross chain with Bell's Coin, minting it on or inscribing on Bell's Coin, having it delivered on Ethereum, I had a bunch of ETH NFT collectors reach out to me, and they were just like, $25, dude, I'll buy 10 of them, right? Not a big deal. Whereas like on Bell's Coin, people are only minting for free, right, Adam? Like anything that's not a penny, people are not minting it. But taking it over to Ethereum, they're like, yo, $25, easy. I don't care. This is cool. And now they have Bell's Coin exposure. So we hope to do that with Doginals and bring Doginals to our Vault Pad, and then have them, bring Doginals to the Ethereum ecosystem. One of our kind of main mottos or thesis is meeting collectors where they are. And so far, it's really been proven correct up until this point. I mean, Emblem Vault's the first NFT interoperability protocols created in 2020. And we're still here 4 years later, live on mainnet. The company Emblem Vault has been around since 2016, right? So it's unheard of companies existing for 8 years in this space, existing 4 years on mainnet without imploding. There's a product market fit. People want to be met to where they feel most comfortable. And so we'd love to do that with Doginals. Again, I've asked 2 different marketplaces for an API so that we could add support. They do not have it yet, but the second they give it to me, or if there's somebody who has an API who's listening here for Doginals, whether you're a marketplace, inscription service, etc., we will be doing it. We're also, this is maybe a little bit alpha, we're actually talking with a Doginals inscription service so that we could bring Doginals to our Vault Pad, which hopefully we could do through Emblem Markets, which is a chain agnostic marketplace we'll be releasing here in the next few weeks. But also, if you're a Doginals project and you say, hey, I want to take my collection to Ethereum, or I want to take it to Bitcoin collectors, please reach out to us. We're open to it. We love innovation and experimentation. And so there's a lot of capabilities for cross-chain stuff. I know it's a little bit hard to comprehend, but there's a lot of demand for Doginals. Just some people don't want to go through the UTXO of having to download a new wallet, waiting for the mempool, right? Learning how to set up a node if that's the case. They want it right in front of them, served up. Adam, I want to ask Adam's opinion on it because I know he's seen this time and time again across all these different blockchains. What do you think?
Well, I think in a way, with Dogecoin and Bells, it's very similar. People get used to this free mint, right? Or this near free mint. So in some ways, you're challenged to get people to pay more. So if you bring it to Ethereum, we were concerned and had a lot of discussions around, well, is the, $25 inscription and mint cost for the vault going to dissuade people? And obviously this didn't, because we reached a lot of Ethereum people. So I think you do need to be conscious of that. But you're going to find out real quick, like how much people are willing to pay for these. but certainly meeting them where they are. Like, I know, myself included, it took me how long to finally get a Doge like wallet? Like, I just did not, man, I just didn't want to do it. And then I didn't want to bridge my ETH to Doge. Like, I just wasn't going to do it. Right. So I think meeting people in this way, and we've talked about it a lot, Ethereum, Solana, the people are there. They have money. Bringing it to them in an attractive way, I think is it's a great way to onboard a lot of people. Great way.
Yeah, really, really exciting times what we're doing out here. So yeah, again, we want to take Doginals cross chain. Chris, thank you for the question, is presented very greatly, and we'll continue to educate. And again, reach out to us for any of that stuff. I'd like to call on a few more hands. We'll go to, I don't know who had it up first, if it was Breezy or Honey, but we'll start with Breezy. We'll go to Honey and then Art Jedi right after.
Hey Jake, how's it going? I'm curious. So if someone purchased a Doginal and they wrapped it to ETH, and say this Doginal project does like a Ruin airdrop or Dune airdrop, would they still be eligible for airdrops from said project?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I'm glad you asked that. Yes, actually. So if you look through Emblem Vault, I'll use Counterparty for an example. Counterparty was really the big breakout use case for Emblem Vault, where users were vaulting rare Pepes and Spells of Genesis cards and trading them on ETH. There's a native wallet inside of the vault. So if you open some of these Counterparty or these rare Pepe vaults and look in them, there's literally 10, 20, 30, sometimes 100 assets in these vaults that are generally from airdrops, because there is a Counterparty wallet inside of it. So I'll use this again in the Doginal framework. If you, what a vault is it's a Doginal wallet. So it's a Dogecoin wallet inside of an ERC-721 token. So the assets actually never leave Dogecoin. What you're doing is you're trading the private keys to that wallet on Ethereum or on Solana or X-Chain like that. So the asset here, right, if I have the Breezy Doginal asset and I want to take it to Ethereum, basically what I do is I send the Breezy Doginal to the Dogecoin wallet inside of the vault. And once I mint it, the private keys to that wallet's then tokenized on Ethereum and trading. But that asset is still inside of a Dogecoin wallet, so it's eligible to receive any type of airdrops that you want moving forward. You can even do, and so then the only way to remove it from the wallet is you basically burn the NFT, and then it shows the private keys. So then that vault still exists, but it's non-transferable, but it still exists inside of that wallet. So basically, when you unvault it, you see the private keys, and then you just go import it into whatever Doginal wallet that you want. It's simply, that's as simple as that. I hope it is. I hope I explained that correctly. Did that make sense?
Yeah, dude, that's awesome to hear. I definitely want to do a little more research on it, but man, I've been waiting on a feature like this for a long time, and I don't know how long you guys have been around, but this is the first I've heard of it, and it's cool.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so Emblem Vault hit mainnet in 2020. It's actually the top NFT interoperability protocol, sitting around $100 million, and we call it TVV, Total Value Vaulted, which is the play on Total Value Locked. It's done about 200 million in trading volume since 2020. So I think close to 60,000 ETH in volume that we support, things from Namecoin, Bitcoin Ordinals, stamps, etc., blah, 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 down the board. Yeah, shoot me a DM. I'm happy to talk about it and walk you through. We got a lot of tutorials and etc. So yeah, appreciate you for asking that. Really, really good question. What's up, honey?
Hey guys, good morning here from Colombia. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very curious because I'm like a connection, like a bridge with the Spanish community. You know, we are like 600 million people, natives, talking this language, and we have a little bit of exposition to those things. Of course, with the Doginals campaign, we learn so much. We meet so many interesting people. ABIT is teaching us so many things to do, and it's a good opportunity to bring more knowledge for our Spanish community. And what you bring into the table, it's very important, because today with the dogs inscriptions issues and the fact that it's so many people saying that it's because the inscriptions, and we know it's the future. We really believe it's my opinion that we need to push more to this reality, more for people in the countries where it's not affordable to pay for a Bitcoin, for example. And it's bringing so much value to people that wants to inscribe, wants to make the market, wants to ask for payment in those cryptocurrency that is easiest. And I think it's a good opportunity to build an ecosystem, a real ecosystem, where the money comes through the value and you can exchange this on your own and with no difficulties for the value of the price of the coin by themselves. It's an opportunity for so much people, I guess. Thank
100%.
you for letting me share.
Yeah, honey, I totally agree with you. I'm actually in Costa Rica, and it's laughable if we think Ethereum or Bitcoin, ordinals or NFTs are going to transfer over to the rest of the world, and people are going to be spending thousands of dollars on NFTs. It's never ever going to happen. There has to be a less expensive alternative to get people into crypto and excited about it. And I think that's one of the beauties of Doge, and one of the real deep advantages that Dogecoin has in this fight is the ability to attract, the rest of the world, the other 8 billion, 7 billion people. It just has a really, really unique opportunity. So yeah, totally agree with you there.
Yeah, and something that is it's people, of course it's people interest and speculation. It's people and everybody's allowed. It's okay, but it's too many people that want to use the technology in another way. And I was experimenting with the ABIT in those days, for example, to inscribe for my father, which is passed away, and it was in my email, and it was an experience that I appreciate too much, that I have in my heart. I never forget. And this is something that make my days today. And it's not just me. I think so much people is coming here for another reasons. And I guess it's a good space to start. It's a very good space because so many people work every day like, okay, I don't need money, but it's not true. Everybody needs money. But what happened is this misconception and this disconnections between the value and the money, it's the problem in this economy. And we have the opportunity today to break these walls, to make this happen with not so much pain. And you've been in Costa Rica, you know very good, this wall is huge. And this wall, it's against everything. But we have today the opportunity to put this work for the people, to make this work for the people in the reality. I think it's a fortunate that you invite me to this space. I was like, okay, maybe I have nothing to share here because I'm not technology woman, but I'm learning so much and I'm excited with the future. And I think this is the best way to make this happen to the people. And I don't see another opportunity better than this. I think it's meant to be. And we are in the best moment right now to make this happen. I appreciate too much Emblem Belt because this is gonna bring so much people to the fact that, okay, I wanna share this in Solana, I wanna do this in Ethereum. And it's something that blew up my mind because it's happening. It's connection between the blockchains, and it's what the people want. Nobody wants to be fighting to each other because this blockchain or the other blockchain. It's about the people and what the problems you are solving, and it's not for all the blockchains that are going to happen. Some blockchain going to work for this, and another blockchain going to work for another thing. And thank God it's this because it's more opportunity for more people to build something amazing.
Totally agree with you. Jake will tell you, I've been pushing hard. Like, let's do a 10K from Doge to Solana. Like, I mean, how crazy would that go? Like, Solana would it would crush. It would completely crush. So yeah, we're completely on the same page.
Yep, we're working on it. We're building out here, and getting these conversations going. It just makes us incredibly even more motivating. to see all of the different use cases. Very, very exciting times. I will go to Art Jedi, Chris, and then Drippy right after.
Chris first, then me, please.
Okay. What's up, Chris?
Hey, sure. Yeah, just, to piggyback off Honey, Emblem understands this more than anyone, that we need to make these applications, these collections, everything accessible to everybody in the entire world. It doesn't need to be gatekept for anyone. And so to really make these transactions seamless and frictionless, we have to, cross borders, and we have to really open up to anyone that wants to participate. And so we're working on that every single day, not only on the technology side, but also on the educational side. And so that's why these spaces are so important. And then real quick, we do have Uncle Jay in the audience. We did tell him that we would touch on the Rare Doge directory and Doge Party. So let's give that a talk. Uncle Jay, if you want to come up, feel free. If not, that's okay too. Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute.
Ooh, that is a good point. I did bring it up briefly earlier. So for those that don't know, Doge Party was the first way to trade NFTs on Dogecoin, actually. It was a fork of Counterparty. If you're not familiar with what Counterparty is, it was also the first way, or maybe, I guess, depending on how you view it, one of the earliest ways to trade NFTs on Bitcoin. That's where Rare Pepe exists. Doge Party is a little bit, underutilized and overlooked. There is the Rare Doge directory, right? They have their own kind of Rare Pepe similarity. There's actually a pretty large community there. I highly recommend giving it a try. If you've been here for the whole conversation, I had noted something from Little Shibe, who had been creating a lot of Doge Party assets in 2014. Also, if you're familiar with Dogfather, who's a regular visitor on our co-host on our show, as well as big in the Bitcoin Ordinals community, that's where his name actually derived from, was Doge Party. Back in the day, I'm a big collector. If you're a historical NFT collector, if you like token as provenance and you have a high preference for early timestamps, yes, that is a big industry, then Doge Party is something you should look for. It'll take a little bit more technical understanding of how it works, but if you know how Counterparty works, it's almost the same exact thing, and it's actually operated by JDog, who was operating the Counterparty protocol for a little while up until recently. There's a lot of cool collections on there. I'm a collector of it, and highly recommend giving it a try. It's a really, really fun time. Adam, what's your takeaway, or maybe brief explanation of Doge Party, if anything I missed?
Yeah, I mean, I think the easiest thing is just think of it as Counterparty, but for Doge, right? I mean, it's just that simple. And yeah, actually, Doge Party has some of the earliest art on blockchain. So it's really, it's kind of a historical NFT little niche that few people know about. But, as we gain wider adoption, like, this stuff will become more and more important and valuable. So you're still very early if you're thinking about maybe getting into historical NFTs and stuff like that. Doge Party is definitely one of those like hidden gems to check out for sure.
And they also have Doge stamps, which is, if you like Bitcoin stamps, there's also Dogecoin stamps. It exists, right? It's
there.
Again,
there are 5 of us in the Telegram. It's one of those things. It's hyper niche, right? It's one of these.
It'll get its day. It's just a little
quiet parts of the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of limited infrastructure, but yeah, it's a fun time, dude. The art on there is incredible, right? There's no limit, I guess, per se, on like the kilobyte limit, or maybe it's a higher degree. So there's a lot of incredible Dogecoin art. I think, like, if you know Rare Pepe's got to 36 series. I think Rare Doge is over 36 series at this point. So literally thousands of custom Doge artwork on Doge Party. So make sure you give it a try and check it out. What's up, Art Jedi? We're back to you.
Yes, thank you. I had 2 points now, 3 now. One was, I was very early inscriber last year on the 12th of Feb. So I have 5 ordinals inscribed under 64 and 65K. But I think 2 of them were already sold on ETH, so I'm gifting them to the collectors. And 3 of them are one-on-ones, and I'm kind of seeking out what can I do with them, right? So there's like parent-child, and then I don't know what else. Like there's a lot of things that can be done. So just kind of want to put it out there that that's something, like I was there in the very, very early stages of Ordinals, and I'm good friends with Ordinal Bot, the founder of Ordinal Bots as well. So I'm going to find a way of putting it out there. Gamma didn't accept me, by the way, Jake and Adam. I submitted my application and I don't know what the politics is there, but fuck them. So I'm going to go somewhere else. And I'm going to put my 3 inscriptions under 65K as one Bitcoin. So I've been an artist for like 20 years. And if people can't respect that, then fuck them, right? But also, what was the second? Yeah. Oh, in your Emblem vault, if someone's minted something from ETH, on ETH, basically, could they list it on Bitcoin somehow? Because obviously Gamma doesn't want me, so I'm looking for alternatives. But there's one more thing I want to share, and then back to you. I was a featured artist on Holograph just 4 days ago. It opened last Wednesday, and 100,000 people minted my work. I put this work, an experimental work called Bull Run. More than 100,000 people have minted my work, or more than 100,000 mints have been off my work. So there is fucking demand for Art Jedi, Jake and Adam. How are you gonna use that?
So when it comes to Bitcoin, Emblem will be deploying on Bitcoin ordinals first, and then Solana afterwards. Our target is early Q2 of 2024. We have a very sophisticated launch partner with that. So it is coming. We actually are already in the R&D development stages, and we'll begin working on that towards the end of February. So what that means is you could pretty much bring any asset to Bitcoin, whether you want to bring over your CryptoPunk, your Bored Ape, your Doginal, right? Your Doginal dogs, whatever it is. If you could bring it over to ordinals and denominate it in Bitcoin, that seems to be quite attractive for a lot of people for a variety of reasons. But what will be the actual breakout case for it, I think, is still kind of largely to be determined. But yeah, we are coming. So I'm excited for that. And then in terms of your artwork, hey, you just got to keep experimenting, right? A lot of these artists are inscribing on all these different chains. Maybe Bell's Coin, as you mentioned earlier, is the place to be. But just keep
I'd love to try that. I'd love to try. 100,000 people on 9 chains, including Ethereum. Like the gas was really atrocious. Even when I tried to mint my own freaking work, it was like $30 or £30, something like that. And then like 260 or something have already minted on ETH. So people are crazy. But 100,000, more than 100,000 of Bull Run by Art Jedi were minted in 3 days, 72 hours, which is really great. So I'd love to, but I would like to be, and it was a free mint, by the way, so I didn't get anything. But I want to, even if we can collaborate in something that I get like a $1 or something like that, that would change my life in some ways, or at least sort out my year for, So I would love to collaborate with you guys on some of the new kind of blockchains that are emerging and all of that. So please, yeah, let's continue this conversation.
Sure. Yeah, just shoot me a DM and we can chat.
You're not following me, Dick.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Jake, how dare you?
Red-handed.
You can't follow everybody, It's hard to keep track.
I got you, Art Jedi. There we go. What's up, Drippy? Thank you for being patient.
Yeah, you're good, Jake. So obviously, one of the biggest things with Doge is the community is pretty spread out. You have your standard, Doge to the moon, Doge holders. You have obviously Doge chain, and now we have Doginals. And I guess what I'm trying to ask is, on top of, all the traffic that's on the main chain right now, And like kind of like in the name of bridging these two communities together, there's been a little bit of talk about, bringing Doginals over to Doge Chain in order to like trade them amongst other things. And I guess I was asking if, is that something that Emblem Vault can make happen, or is it just bridging to Ethereum and Bitcoin right now?
So right now Emblem is deployed on Polygon, BNB, and Ethereum. So yeah, we can do that. I'd have to look into the Doge chain specs. I haven't been following that since it was launched. What was that, 2 years ago, maybe, or something like that? Are you?
Yeah, it was probably 3, dude. Honestly.
Are you an active participant on Doge chain?
No,
I
hold a bunch of Doge Chain NFTs from way back, but they're definitely still active because we've been in spaces with them, like the Doginal Dogs community specifically, kind of just trying to bridge the two communities together, see how we can help each other. And I was kind of just trying to figure out if Emblem Vault can fit into that in some way.
Yeah, we can deploy on any chain. I would need to look at the specs to know if it's. I think it's a smart contract platform. I don't know if it's EVM or its own custom. If you could shoot me a DM with like any of the information about it, I could look into it. But theoretically, yeah, we could deploy on any chain.
The thing is to keep in mind is that, like, and Jake and I had a conversation yesterday with someone who's like, when you get into these like obscure chains or whatever, it just, of course we can. The question is why would we, and why would you want to do that, right? So it makes sense, like what I was talking a second ago about, like, okay, bringing a Doge collection to Solana, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because people are aware of Doge and there are collectors on Solana, right? Or bringing Doge to ETH, that makes sense. Or Doge to Ordinals, or Ordinals to Solana, right? But it has to make sense, like why people would want to do that, right? Either there's liquidity and interested collectors on one side, or, or cheap fees, or something has to be there that's going to make it worthwhile. Like, why would people want to do this, right? So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about like what Emblem is good for. It's like you have to kind of make that connection as to why you'd want to do that. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. I mean, I think a lot of like Dogecoin maxis, they like I've had a few conversations with them, and they just stick with Doge Chain for some reason. They hold their old, Doge Chain NFTs. The real idea, on top of obviously, kind of just taking traffic, keeping it on like a Doge centered chain while taking traffic away from the main chain, but also just kind of tapping into that side of the Doge community that's not willing to quote unquote hurt Doge, because that's how they see Doginals right now is, we're like we're putting graffiti on money and all that other BS. So, but yeah, I appreciate the take. I'll definitely DM you, Jake.
Yeah, shoot me a DM. Yeah, it sounds like from your perspective, the reasoning is scale, is like to prevent bloat on the chain, and then for scaling, right, almost like kind of like a side chain or kind of layer 2, pseudo layer 2 perspective. From what Adam and I have learned, and this is what Adam was saying, like, we've learned that we can deploy on chains, but a lot of times it doesn't get use unless there's something on the other side, the incentive of reward, right? There's incentive of profit. Sometimes it's really just the ideology can translate really well. We've been speaking on this, or something of innovation that attracts the right crowd. Obviously, profit-driven motives are by far number one best use case, but there are alternatives. They are somewhat largely underexplored because I think the industry at large of crypto is just highly profit driven. I don't know if it'll probably be that way forever, but will that be the primary use case? I don't really know, right? Like the rise of Farcaster is kind of interesting if you've been dabbling around with that, where it's not profit driven, right? It's more social driven, and so they're trying to explore these. But right as of now, everything is just needs liquidity on the other side for users to participate, at least when it comes to bridging, right? With like, there's a reason why a lot of people have or still trade on layer 1s, right, on Bitcoin or on Ethereum, and they don't bridge to layer 2s because there's no liquidity there, right? I think that's kind of like the main idea.
Totally.
I am interested though. Yeah. So shoot me DM. One final question and then we'll wrap this up. Doge Mouse, dude, great name. I'm a massive Dead Mouse fan. So love the name.
What up, dog? What up? Great. try to get a little bit of background on what Emblem is. Are you guys like a protocol that's being implemented on chain to make bridging to other platforms easier, or what is like the basis of you guys?
Yeah, so Emblem so there's three ways to move assets across blockchains. There's something called wrapped, right? Like if you're familiar with wrapped Bitcoin, there's bridges, right? And then there's vaulting. And the way I could describe this, the most simplistic way is wrapped is something called custody and mint, where you send your you send Bitcoin to BitGo, they mint a token on the other side that represents that Bitcoin. You have bridges, which use something called lock and mint or burn and mint, where they take the token, they lock it in a smart contract and mint a new token on the other side, or they burn the token and then mint a new one on the other side. And then you have Emblem Vault, is what we call encrypt and mint, which is this idea of taking the private keys to a wallet and encrypting it and storing it on another chain. So essentially, you're just trading, the seed phrase to that wallet. And so because of this use case, it allows us to, quote unquote, bridge any type of asset from any type of blockchain, right? So you could do proof of stake chains, you could do things from EVM and SVM, but our real leverage we have here is for UTXO based assets. That's why Bitcoin, the Bitcoin community at large initially adopted Emblem Vault, which deployed to mainnet in 2020 and has about 17,000 holders across all these different blockchains and 60,000 ETH in trading volume, is because it's right now the only way to take UTXO based assets and move them across chain, completely on chain. The interactions are all on chain. And so that's why Emblem has found adoption there. We could do other things like what Wormhole is doing with DGods, where they do this like idea of burn and mint, right? So DGods had this announcement with Wormhole, and what they're doing is every time a DGod moves to these different EVM chains, they're burning the underlying token and minting a new one on the other side. Emblem believes that the token provenance is one of the most important traits to an asset. And also, you can't burn a UTXO and mint a new UTXO on the other side. That just cannot happen. So we believe that Emblem Vault has an edge in terms of moving assets across blockchains, because you could take a private key and move it to any type of chain that you want. That's I hope that explanation. I hope that was a good explanation.
So you're able to do like an import. You're pretty much like encrypting like an import into another blockchain, and then being able to utilize it on that blockchain back and forth, like utilizing your protocol.
Yes.
Yeah. You're basically trading the private keys, but the underlying asset never moves from the native.
I got you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope.
No, it's dope as fuck, bro. It's dope as fuck.
So why would you guys not utilize Dogecoin? Like you're saying, like Solana.
Bro, we are. What are you talking about? We're here, bro. Of course, we're gonna utilize Dogecoin, man.
Yes.
I thought you were saying that you guys had to like look into it more, and I was like,
no, dude, this shit is happening, bro. It's being built as we speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So Dogemas, let me explain a little bit. So Emblem has had Dogecoin support since 2021, maybe even 2020 when it first deployed. The way that you move assets then is through metadata and different types of APIs. So we've been trading Doge Party assets on Emblem Vault since 2021. With Doginals, right, that it's because there's a use of on-chain indexers, there's no way for us to derive the quote unquote the balance or verify the assets without an API provider or somebody who's running the indexers. Right now, the people who are running the indexers are the two marketplaces, right? Doggy Market and Doge Labs. And so without using their API, unless we create our own indexer, which is just very cost intensive and time intensive, it takes months to do. We need to use their API so that if you move your Doginal across chain, we can verify that is exactly that Doginal or exactly that DRC20 amount. We've approached both of them and asked for an API. Neither of them have been able to provide API services to us. So we're literally just waiting on that. Once we have the API for Doginals, we could literally spin it up within a day.
Does that make sense, man?
Yeah, it made sense when you first explained it. I just wanted to verify about the private key and how you're utilizing it in the protocol. I think it's an excellent idea for sure, my man. Like, bro, both of you guys, like, yeah, dude. So it's only been 2 years. You guys have already got this fucking far. Like, I can't imagine in 5 years where you're at.
Oh, well, Emblem, the company's been around for 8 years, since 2016. You could go to bitcointalk.org and look at the initial post from 2016. It started on Bitcoin on Counterparty and hit Ethereum mainnet in 2020 because of the similar situation that we were discussing earlier. The Bitcoin culture decided they didn't want to innovate and were pushing out all the builders. So Emblem packed up shop and moved over to Ethereum. And so it's been on Ethereum mainnet since September 2020. I think there's about 60,000 vaults. No, I guess now almost 70,000 vaults. 17,000 holders across on Ethereum that supports 10 different blockchains and 60,000 ETH in volume. Yeah, so it has a lot of traction. Primary for NFTs, we could do fungible tokens, but for NFTs, that's been the big breakout case. Yeah, if you have any questions, you just shoot me a DM. Happy to chat about it, and we'll be doing a lot more of these spaces as well. So great question.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Also, another one since you were talking about Ethereum. So inscriptions, you guys are already about those too, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. So we the first wave.
Oh, fucking right.
The first way that ETH inscriptions traded was actually through Emblem Vault on OpenSea. Same thing with Bitcoin ordinals. Same thing with Counterparty. Same thing with Bitcoin stamps. The first way they traded all of them was through Emblem Vault on OpenSea. So now we're just trying to take that mainstream, that idea for different types of use cases. It's very exciting times. We're going to have our own marketplace coming out in the next few weeks or maybe a month or so. And I think it'll be easier to understand it once you see it all kind of packaged in one nice marketplace and platform. So yeah, good question, man. Again, shoot me DM and we could talk. Last question here, and then we wrap it up. I saw, is it Genesis Block? What's up, man?
Hi guys. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, bro.
Good. So I've been trying for a couple of days now to mint on DRC token, all these new mints, and I struggle with Doge Labs. I don't understand. It keeps synchronizing, and I can't find any of my mints. I tried Uni Elon, and same. I can't find anything. Like, these are the two wallets I've been able to find so far, and I checked via the Explorer, and I can see in my input and output, but nothing really is hitting the wallet. So like all my mints, nothing is coming up.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to know if there is, a better wallet out there that synchronizes, ASAP and, something. Thank you.
Yeah, so first Unilon and Doge Labs, those are two different protocols. I know they're both called DRC20, but they're two different ones. I know it's really annoying. I'd recommend following 8-Bit, who's here on stage with us. He has all the information you need when it comes to Doginal education. 8-Bit, what would you recommend Genesis Block here to help him with this situation?
My brother, I really want to just kind of guide you toward Ordinal's wallet at this point. And if you're really looking to explore it on your own, head to the ordlibrary.com and just hit the Doge section, my brother. Right there, you can be able to learn how to set up a node. Or if you're willing to take the shot, man, you can learn how to inscribe it.
Not sure if I'm logging because I cannot hear him.
Okay.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Jake.
Just go ahead and follow 8-Bit. Go to his account, hit the follow button, then go to his website, Ord Library. There's a Doge section, and it has literally everything you need there, from if you want to set up your own node and inscribe, to the wallet providers, to pretty much everything. So just make sure you give him a follow.
All right, great. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
No problem. Well, everybody, we've done almost 2 hours. Another exciting space. Dude, the Doginal demand is incredible. We've had an insane amount of live viewers. I saw there was up to almost 150 people here listening at one point in time. We do want to do these more regular. I think we'll do this in 2 Thursdays because that'll be closest to the 2-year anniversary, or 1-year anniversary, I should say, my bad, of Doginals. I think it was around February 24th or February 25th, something of that nature. So we'll be back here in 2 weeks talking Doginals. Hopefully we'll get some of the other leaders on the space. Dude, 8-Bit, appreciate you for coming on. Really enjoy your content. For everyone that needs information, make sure you follow 8-Bit, man. He's the best educator I've seen so far in terms of learning the ecosystem inside and out. For those that also aren't aware, Adam, myself, and Chris, we work at Emblem Vault. We discussed this kind of at the end. It's the leading NFT cross-chain protocol in the industry, over 100 million in total value vaulted. We support Dogecoin, Bitcoin, Litecoin, etc. Please make sure that you give all of us a follow, especially the Emblem Vault account, to stay in tune. We host this show Tuesday through Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Generally runs about 90 minutes or so. We went over today because the conversation was hot. We'll be back next Tuesday again at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time for the Emblem Morning Show. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me, Adam, Chris, or the Emblem Vault account a DM. We cover everything from all of the inscription markets to collecting to the multi-chain world to just being innovators and being pioneers in the space. Art Jedi, thank you for coming on as always. And everybody who's been here, it's been a lovely and awesome time. And stay safe out there. We will see you back on Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, ta-ta.